Why do people use hashtags on LinkedIn? How should you use hashtags on LinkedIn? Because most people use them wrong. How many should you add? Which one should you add? And what are the best practices you should know to get it right? This video covers it all. And stick till the end for a power tip about hashtags that can enhance all of your social media. It starts right now. Hey, I'm Brooke Miles, and welcome back to another video where I teach you how to outshine your competitors on social media. Let's get to LinkedIn hashtags. When I look at other people's posts on my newsfeed, I'd say only about 20% of people are actually using hashtags, and of that 20%, only about 30% of them are actually doing it right. The other 70% at least feel that they look cool. So my tips today will help you be in the top 30% of the top 20%, which ends up being the top 6% of all LinkedIn users. But first, very briefly, why hashtags? Think of LinkedIn hashtags as keywords you add to your post so your post is more discoverable. For instance, here's a post with the keyword leadership. If you click on it, you'll see there are 2.9 million people following this hashtag. So if you add this hashtag to your post could show up somewhere in this list we see here of other posts all around LinkedIn that also use this hashtag. But in addition to showing up on this list, you may also show up directly in the news feeds of some of the people who follow the leadership hashtag. No, you won't show up in all 2.9 million news feeds of those people who follow the hashtag, although that would be like amazing. So here's what happens. When you put your post out there in the LinkedIn universe, LinkedIn isn't going to send it to all your connections. They'll send it to a fraction of your connections. They want to see how the post performs. And if it turns out your post gets likes, comments, and shares, that's a signal to LinkedIn that your post is interesting and more people should see it. So they'll send it to more of your connections and more of your connections. And they can also start sending it to people who follow hashtags that you happen to put in the post. So you can see how adding hashtags can give you access to a whole new audience. Now there's the question, how many hashtags should you use? Based on the information I gave you, you may be tempted to add like a zillion hashtags, and I understand the temptation. Try to keep it to 3 to 5 hashtags. Any more than that looks spammy. And we're going for quality of hashtags, not quantity here. Now, where should you put the hashtags in your post? Remember that hashtags don't look like normal English. So if you put your hashtags in the middle of your text, they look like a whole series of weird hiccups. For instance, you don't want your post to look like this. Here are the latest trends in social media marketing, in particular Facebook marketing and Instagram marketing that you should know to make smart decisions for your small business. Okay, I'm not the best hiccupper, but that's not why you're on this channel, right? Instead, put your 3 to 5 hashtags at the end of your post. As a matter of fact, have a couple line breaks between your normal text and the hashtags so that way they're really separated. Here's how the post would look instead. Here are the latest trends in social media marketing, in particular Facebook marketing and Instagram marketing, that you should know to make smart decisions for your small business. And you see the hashtags at the end? I'm not going to do the hiccups. Hey, real quick, if you're liking this video so far and want to see more of my videos when they come out, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell. Thanks. Now let's talk about which hashtags to use. Here's where a lot of people mess up. First of all, you want to make sure you choose hashtags that are relevant to your industry, because don't you want to attract the people who are interested in your industry? For instance, I recently saw a post from someone who used these hashtags: community, opportunity, celebrating. So what's wrong with that? The person who posted is in information technology. He's in computers. He could have had an opportunity to show up in hashtag collections of people interested in that industry, but he missed that chance. Likewise, please, please, please do not use your company name as a hashtag. Let's say your company is Bob's Accounting Services. I know that's a stupid name, but that's what I came up with, okay? So you decide to use the hashtags hashtag Bob's Accounting and hashtag Bob's Accounting Services. Technically, you can do this. No one owns hashtags and you can write whatever hashtag you want. But I'm going to burst your bubble. No one cares about your Bob's Accounting hashtags. No one. Please don't waste one of your precious 3 to 5 hashtags at the end of your post with a hashtag that no one else is following. And even if you're a huge national or international company, it may still be a waste of a hashtag. Look at Taco Bell. There are only 488 people in the entire world who follow that hashtag on LinkedIn, and they make decent tacos at a cheap price. On the other end of the spectrum, you don't want your hashtags to be too broad. Remember, whatever hashtags you use are competing with posts that also use the same hashtags. Let's just say I'm writing a post that gives tips on how to enhance your LinkedIn profile for marketing your business. Let's look at potential hashtags. Hashtag marketing has 20.3 million followers. That's a bit too broad, too much competition there. Hashtag LinkedIn might be good to add, but it has 1.1 million followers and there will still be too many posts competing with you. Hashtag LinkedIn profile has 6,000 followers. Okay, that's better. So is hashtag LinkedIn for business with 3,200 followers and hashtag LinkedIn marketing with 5,700 followers. Now let's look at how to find those hashtags. At the search bar at the top of your screen, start with the main category of a hashtag you're thinking of. So you type in hashtag social media. Now here you'll see suggestions of hashtags that were already created in the past that people are following. Then click on the one that might interest you, such as hashtag social media marketing, and see if you like it. You'll also notice you can get even more granular. Now type in hashtag social media marketing, and now you'll see even more hashtags. I recommend researching a lot of these hashtags in advance, especially if you plan to use them in multiple posts, so that way you always have them in your back pocket. Now for the power tip. Every social media platform is different with the number of hashtags that are ideal to include with each post. Here are the guidelines for some of the major platforms. The ideal number of hashtags on Facebook is 0, and I explained this in another video, and here's the link. On Twitter, the ideal number of hashtags is 2. On LinkedIn, it's 3 to 5, just like we talked about. And on Instagram, it's between 11 and 30, with 30 being the maximum number of hashtags you can include in the body of a post. And if you want more tips on how to rock it on LinkedIn, check out my LinkedIn marketing playlist in the top right. And if you haven't yet subscribed and you want to make sure you stay up to date with our latest tips and strategies, click on the Delaware ShoutOut icon in the top left. Thanks, and see you in the next video.